Hi, welcome back to this next episode, and welcome if you're new here, and thank all of you, new and my wonderful community, for every way that you support me and the channel and interact and really building a community here, and you're all absolutely appreciated, precious and cherished to me. We're going to do another exercise from the fabulous Painting Landscapes by Inga Buidavice, and this one will be from the mountains section. There's a few exercises in that section. I'm doing one now. I've done the others and I love them too. And what we're gonna do is the Yorkshire Moors, which is somewhere that I now cross quite regularly to visit my favourite human. And yeah, so that really resonated with me, and I'm gonna activate my watercolours. I'm just wetting the paints. I don't have the exact colours that Inga has, but I'm using the ones closest that I've got, and we are going to have a start soon. This is voiceover because the audio that I did do had a lot of interruptions. We're having quite a busy week here at Crafton Towers, so you'll have to bear with me. My usual filming setup and sound and things was just not possible, but I wanted to continue this inspiration series so that I could share what I'd found this week. I'm loving working through this book. The way that Inga explains things and the visuals really do help me with the way that I learn and the way that my funky brain is wired. So I am just mixing a few colours. I've got a flat brush because we're going to do some quite sweeping washes, and wetting the paint a little bit more. And here we go. We are doing lighter hills to the back, so I've got really watered down mixture of brown and like a sandy yellow, and I'm making sure it's super pale in the background for distance, but also for that bit of mist that sometimes settles on the moors at certain times of day. Darker mid-tone, and I'm trying to get the curves of the hills at the top. They'll need more defining as we go along. Also trying to leave a gap for the path, and then on the other side will be shades of grey because it's more rocky and mountain kind of over the other side, so a very pale colour, just making it a bit more washy because it looked quite dry. Another mid-tone, that's flowing quite well. That other side was dribbling a little bit and looking a bit messy. A darker tone. I didn't feel at this point that I got much differences in the tone, but I was a bit reticent to really change that too much until it dried, in case I made the contrast to the other extreme. Then is a darker colour, and again I'm just making it a looser wash because I felt like those edges were a bit scratchy. And I'm just taking a green now, and the advice is to let those colours mingle a bit and meld, so that the tones are very earthy and blending together. So I don't mind that. And the gaps are for when we begin some rocks on the side. And again, as usual, the darker colour at the bottom. The greens, I've took advice from Inga and from my daughter and added an earthier brown tone into the green to make it more natural, to make it more like earthy heathland, moorland, grass. And it does look better. TikTok. And it's dried, and there is a little difference in the shades. There's more with the browns than with the greys, but enough that I can add layers and that will make it enough. I'm adding some sky in. Now this is a mixture of blue and titanium white and a tiny little bit of grey, because I thought it is a bit misty and cool up at the top of those moors at times. So, and I don't mind where the paint settles on the top of the hills. I think it's actually given it a tiny bit of definition, to be honest. And just add in some little wisps of white and grey just to give clouds. That doesn't look very, like it's standing out on the camera, but it'll dry to be subtly there, which is cloud-like really, isn't it? I'm mixing some more colours on my palette, and I'm going in with some more tones of brown. This time I've done 2 shades of brown, and I've added that sandier yellow at times. I've added a bit of black at times, depending on whether it was nearest to us or further away. Just trying to zhuzh it up and give like contours of the land as it's going down. I'm giving some rough tufts of grass in the front, and just trying to give that green a little bit more oomph while it's right at the front. Mixing, thinking. So we are continuing with the grass, and we're giving things a little bit more definition. I'm mixing a load more greens and browns at this point because I think a few darker values would really help. And some mid-tones. It seems very light and then dark. There's two extremes. Again, this is a me problem. The book is fabulous. So as I'm going through the book, the things that I'm doing on the paper, I'm resolving from what it's demonstrating and from what it's saying. It's just I am a very beginner level artist, so we need to give ourselves a little bit of leeway with that. I am learning to get better with the inner critic, with constructive criticism, not praising absolutely everything, pointing out where I could learn and do better, but watching the language that I use to myself, because we can often say things to ourselves in such a way that we'd never say to a friend, and that's something I'm focusing on. I'm adding some blades grass, I'm adding a few more rock tones, I'm adding water to that because it was far too dry and it's not sitting right. This has been an exercise to really get my teeth into though, because I found this one more challenging. And we're all going to find things easier or more difficult depending on our skills, depending on our brains. I'm adding some more of those tones of brown in just to try and contrast and lift and define. They're more the ones with the shades of brown and the sandy yellow. I'm doing some very deliberate brush strokes, blending them more if I need to, but quite liking those like lines of colour that's there faded, because it's as if it's the lay of the land kind of. Adding a bit more brown to the grey side as well, because I just thought it might add more layers, more gradient to that side, and presumably the earth on the hills to the left wouldn't just suddenly stop kind of on the other side, so I'm just trying to give it a little bit more cohesion. And here we are again, drying down. Each time I look at it dry, I'm a bit more pleased with it. And here we are, I'm going in with some of the same grey blue for the sky, just as like the base colour of the path, and obviously it's going to be darker nearer and lighter at the top, so it is very subtle at the top. And I did wonder about the sky colour, but because you've watered it, those greyer tones are coming through, and it is like the light's getting reflected off it from above. So that's really clever. I would have never have thought to have put white and blue with a grey tone as the path, because I wouldn't have been part brave enough, but also like thinking of colour in that way. Because of the blue, I'd be like, oh no, a path is not blue. Whereas Inga's showing the tones that add to make a colour and the values and shades of those colours by what she's teaching. My daughter is really good at seeing colours within colours to mix colours, and each time I get lucky enough that she's home and we can paint together, I really learn as much as I can off her, because we sit there together with a page and we discuss it and we paint, and not only is it a beautiful time where we're sharing a pastime and it's fantastic memories because we have a ball, but also such a learning opportunity to have someone who knows these things literally sit with you and impart that knowledge, and very much that practical learning by doing, because we're mixing those colours, where she's pointing, look at the sky, look at the, and she's demonstrating how what she's mixing, goes together. And I find that fascinating because it is something that I'm still very much a beginner at. Just some black and grey for the shadows of the rocks, for the underneath. And I've been quite loose with it. Okie dokie. We have to wait again. And we've got some time that I forgot to press record. So we have some green and layers of green, and letting those layers dry and then building it up, and the lighter tones for the rocks and the more blades of grass in different colours, and a little bit of definition on the path, and the little suggestion of a fence, some more shadowy lines and trying to curve the tops. I think I would definitely do this again and really get the definition through the colours a lot more precise. I think that is going to be a massive thing that will benefit me, not just in terms of this exercise, but ongoing artistically at the same time. And I really enjoyed doing it, and as usual, all the best artwork goes on the fridge. So I want to thank Inga for her amazing book and her amazing teaching, and how kind she is on social media. And I want to thank you for watching and going along my stream of consciousness whilst painting. Thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything you do on social media. And thank you all for making me happy while I share this stuff. You're all so kind and lovely, and it does. It brightens up my day to share things with you. And I hope that in my chaotic way I brighten up yours. Thank you ever so much for watching, and we'll see what inspires me next. See you in a bit.